Hello, thank you for joining me for this conflict waiver demonstration of how Tonkean transforms the way that legal operations gets work done. You see, Tonkean is a no-code workflow platform that allows legal operations to intake work from anywhere, triage it using all of their different tools, so maximizing their investment they've already made in their tool set, and then coordinates the completion of the work, whatever it might be, in this case conflict waivers. So if we need to communicate with outside law firms, if we need to communicate with other members of our organization, whether it be IT or security or HR, Tonkean is able to integrate with all of these systems and automate work across your systems. So what does this really look like? Well, in the example of conflict waivers, outside counsel reaches out to company A and says, we need to file a conflict waiver because we want to represent company B, who we know has an adversarial relationship with you. So how does that happen, and how does Tonkean help? Well, there's so many use cases that we're automating for legal operations teams. And just know that all of those use cases, all of those workflows come together into this legal portal that I'm showing here, where we can pull out all the high-level metrics across your various workflows, how we're getting work into and out of your various systems and teams. Tonkean allows you to have this visibility so that you understand exactly where work is coming from, even if it's coming from email. Let's say folks are reaching out to file conflict waivers via email or review contracts. Understand when they came in, from who, and how they were triaged, including if you have a shared Slack channel or Teams. Many organizations do this with their legal providers, their law firms, as well as a simple form, extending a form out to your users. And if you have a system in place today that allows these outside counsels, these law firms, to file these or communicate with you, as long as it's got an API, we can monitor it and use it as a way to intake work to your legal team, providing you full visibility of the request process, what you have, what's in your backlogs. So let's dig into conflict management for a little bit, or conflict waiver management. Here's your dashboard and status of all of your requests, which you can review here in their various statuses. So if you want to track unassigned conflict waivers and get those dynamically assigned to an individual's queue, you can absolutely do that. This is extremely flexible. These are widgets on a screen that a legal operations person can drag and drop and configure their reports to exactly what they need, but we provide many best practice templates out of the box to help you get started. So, looking at this, because it's built on no code, a legal operations person can own this and easily make changes to it as your business needs change. So they can file a conflict waiver right here, but you can also extend this out to folks outside of legal operations so that they can sign into this portal and make many different types of requests, including conflict waivers. And you can also reach out to them in their preferred tool. Now, I highlight this because I want you to know that this makes adoption so easy for Tonkean, because if you have a preferred path, or if your users have a preferred path, you can meet them there. You can bring the workflow to where they work. It's been found that 67% of the time employees admit to skipping legal policies and procedures. Why? Because they don't know your legal policies and procedures. So bringing the workflow to them and making it easy to follow and understand the workflow makes it the path of least resistance and helps you to better serve your employees and your requesters and your outside counsel so that this work can be done quickly and easily and efficiently. So I simply type in conflict waiver and right away I'm routed to the appropriate form I need to fill out. And I could also do it through this simple self-help, self-service portal. So I will enter my request, I will select that it's conflict waiver, and I'm really quickly going to fill in this form. I'm just going to enter some example data. I'll say my outside law firm is Calvin and Hobbs, and of course you have full control over what fields you ask for and what you don't. So if you don't like the fields that I have displayed here, that's completely fine. It's conditional to the user, and as I fill in information, it's conditional to the information that I enter. These forms can also be data-driven, meaning that you can pull data from existing systems so that the end user has to enter the minimum number of fields. Because Tonkean is this integrated environment, we allow you to data drive these forms. So instead of me having to write my name and my code and my employee number and all of that stuff, I can automatically look it up. We call this triage, the ability to automatically enrich these requests from your various data sources. Now, feel free to change the practice area and all of these different types of fields. For the nature of the conflict, I am not going to invent a conflict for this demo. I'm just going to say blah, blah, blah. And we could absolutely do things like upload an existing document or contract for review. Now you'll notice Tonkean immediately takes the requester to this page so that they can track all of the information, that they entered. They can understand if somebody needs to come in and who's going to approve their conflict waiver, if they decline it, why they declined it. And if your legal team would like to work from queues like this, to come over to conflict management and pick up this request that I just entered, you can see the brand new request that I entered right there. They can do that. But if they would prefer to work from Teams or email, there's no real value in forcing your teams to have to adopt new processes. Let's work as efficiently as we can. So we could actually have it ping a legal operations channel in Slack. Same functionality for Teams. And I can see the request that was entered. You control what was communicated here. They can view that request page as well, that sort of pizza tracker of exactly where this request is at in the workflow. And they can choose to approve, reject it, or add any sort of other workflow logic that you would like. So if they would like to get it assigned and then send it for a formal review with more eyes on it instead of just myself, you could absolutely do that. And now, because I went ahead and approved that request, it's going to step forward in its workflow. That it's been approved and it's actually moved on to complete. Tonkean keeps a timeline. It allows you to add comments and additional notes. It even allows you to generate the conflict waiver. As you can see, it's been filled in with all of the information. So if you have existing templates, we can leverage those. And you don't have to invent new templates. You don't have to create a new contract storage location. If that's something you need, we can absolutely help you with it. But Tonkean allows you to automatically generate these and file them with the appropriate metadata in the right location. And so that's how Tonkean transforms this relationship. It allows you to communicate in the channels that make the most sense, but still keeping this consolidated one-stop shop of where your conflict waiver request is. It's built, again, on 100% no code. So if you don't like this workflow, that's completely fine. This workflow starts from a form. Tonkean is a very robust forms engine, and then as you can see, based on how I coordinate with my human users in their preferred channels, it takes that information and begins and creates automation off of it, whether it be communicating with Ironclad, your matter management software, until we go ahead and route this to completion. This workflow is iterable and is designed to be owned by legal operations so that if in 3 months after implementation you decide, you know what, we need to add these additional steps, it is click and drag to do so. We offer a robust list of integrations, and we would love to talk to you about your specific processes and what we're doing for other clients like Google, Instacart, Cisco, Workday, and how we're transforming the legal operations world. So thank you so much for sitting through this demonstration. I hope we get to talk again soon. Have a good day.